All right, this video is for anybody who missed class on Wednesday, or just even if you were in class on Wednesday and want some extra information on how to go about working on the rough draft. So what I'm asking you to do for this rough draft is think about the metaphors in any one of the following poems: El Olvido, Persimmons, The Latin Deli and Ars Poetica, Escape from the Old Country, Dothead, Of the Threads That Connect the Stars, or What It's Like to Be a Black Girl. So, and what I'm looking for in terms of metaphorical language, as we talked about in the reading in the book, a metaphor is anything where we're describing something by talking about something else. We're making some kind of comparison between things. So in one of the poems we had in the reading, we had Marks by Linda Paston, where she's going to be talking about what it feels like to be a wife and a mother, and to not be appreciated by her kids and her son, but she talks about that by saying that they're grading her. So we can say that she's not actually being graded by her family, but that's what it feels like to her. And so we're making some kind of comparison there. And so we could talk about why she would make that kind of a choice, why she would talk about those emotions that she has about being with her family in terms of being graded. In terms of some of the other poems that we've been looking at, let's think about El Olvido. In that poem, remember that there's a line where she's going to talk about how it's dangerous to use knives or other sharp weapons, something like that. We can realize that in that part of the poem, she's not necessarily saying that it's dangerous specifically to use weapons. We can say that that's a metaphor, that those knives and weapons are a metaphor for things that she's not necessarily going to be, things that she's not necessarily going to be used to. And we get that sense of danger from knives and weapons that we might not in other ways. If we're looking at the Latin Deli and Ars Poetica, remember that she's got a line in there where she's going to be talking about the woman who sells canned memories. Realize that she's not actually selling memories in a can, right? It's not like you can go into the store and go, oh, I need a can of memories. What she's doing is she's selling cans of food, beans or whatever it is that we might be selling in the store, and those kinds of foods remind the people who come in there of the places where they came from. And so Kofor is going to be talking about this sense of how much we can remember from those foods. And so she's going to use that metaphor of canned memories. So with a number of the poems that we're looking at, you can see all of those kinds of ways in which the authors are going to be describing something by talking about something else. And so if they do that directly with something like, canned memories, we have that a metaphor. That's a metaphor. If we have something where we're going to use like or as, you can't write about Roethke's My Papa's Waltz, but I say on the sheet as an example, when he talks about I hung on like death, that, as we know from the reading, is a simile, and you can talk about that as well, because similes operate in pretty much the same way. And we could ask, well, what is it we're supposed to get by saying I hung on like death? And we can see how that in some ways shows us how the boy might feel feel kind of conflicted about this relationship. It's both frightening, but he still might potentially want to be holding on to his father at the same time. So you can use any of that kind of metaphorical language. And again, if you look back through the poems that I ask you to talk about, you'll see a number of those kinds of things. Just a reminder, if from looking at this you're still feeling a bit unsure, you can always email me with some specific questions. Also, I'll be in my office this week, Tuesday and Thursday. If those days don't work, I can potentially schedule a time to meet with you on Wednesday. I can be around, so we can talk there. But also, if worse comes to worse and you're not sure about what to do, go ahead and just plug on through. Make sure to complete the draft, because you will get more credit for the draft that comes in, even if it's not exactly what I'm looking for. I will give you full credit for that, and then we'll have an opportunity to talk about what's working in your draft and what's not working in your draft. So don't. I don't want anybody to not turn in the draft because they're not sure about what's going on. Either, again, talk to me or just go ahead and just do your best. And then that'll give us an opportunity, once I see what you've done, that'll give us an opportunity to talk about how to go about making that better. So again, ask me any questions over email if you want, and I will see you next Monday. Your drafts are due on Friday, but then I'll see you a week from today on Monday.